welcome back. Okay, so the United States we are literally the only country on earth with more guns than citizens. We have over 400 million guns. We have 335 million people. We have more guns per person than literally any other country in the world. The closest to us is Yemen, which has about half as many guns per person as we do, a little over 50. We have over 110 guns per person. Most of your countries have, you know, a dozen or so guns per 100 people. Excuse me. The number of guns manufactured in America has nearly tripled just in the past 20 years, from 3.9 million in 2000 to 11.3 million in 2020. There were 118 school shootings in 2018. There were 249 last year. We've had 137 so far this year, and you know, as of tomorrow, we have half the year to go. And guns have become the leading cause of childhood death in America. More children die in the United States by gunfire in a year than on-duty police officers and active duty military members. Now, these are the two groups, the two categories that we pay to stand in front of gunfire: cops and the Army and the military. And if you add all the police who died from gunfire last year and all the military who died from gunfire all over the world last year, it's still a smaller number than the number of children who have died in the United States from gunfire. There are 193 countries in the world, and in 183 of those countries, last year there were 0 school shootings. Now, Canada had a problem with this in Nova Scotia. This was in 2020, 2 years ago. The guy went on a rampage. It was one of the deadliest in the history of Canada. 22 people were killed. And so Prime Minister Trudeau came out yesterday, or maybe it was day before yesterday. It was over the weekend. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. And he said, and he tweeted this. You can find it. In fact, I retweeted it. You can find it on my Twitter feed if you don't know how to find his, although his is at Justin Trudeau. It's fairly easy to find. He writes, again, the Prime Minister of Canada, "One Canadian killed by gun violence is one too many. That's why we have banned 1,500 types of military-style assault firearms. And that's why today we've introduced legislation to further strengthen gun control in Canada." Notice he calls it gun control. I'm hearing from Democrats, don't call it gun control, call it gun safety. Because we don't want to piss off the Republicans. We don't want to freak out the gun nuts. Screw the Republicans and the gun nuts. We've got to control guns in this country. Anyhow, back to Pierre Trudeau, or Justin Trudeau, excuse me. I'm showing my age. Pierre was his father. "Through this legislation," Justin Trudeau says, "we will move forward with a national freeze on handgun ownership. In other words, it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada once this bill becomes law." So they're saying, okay, at the number of guns we have in Canada right now, that's the most we're ever going to have. He goes on to say in his next tweet, he says, "We will also increase criminal penalties to combat gun smuggling and trafficking, provide authorities with more tools to investigate firearm crimes, and criminalize the modification of magazines to prevent them from holding more than the legal limit of ammunition." The legal limit, by the way, is 5. It is illegal in Canada to have a gun that shoots more than 5 bullets without reloading. Now, with a semi-automatic weapon, although semi-automatic weapons by and large are banned now in Canada as well, but typically you do that by changing the size of the magazine. You know, with a revolver, you know, 5-shot revolver, right? In addition, he says, we'll make sure that people involved in acts of domestic violence or criminal harassment have their firearms licenses taken away. And we'll make sure that those who are considered a danger to themselves or others have to surrender their firearms to authorities. He's also proposing a semi-automatic weapons buyback program in addition to a ban, like New Zealand did in 2019. In Australia, they had a mass shooting in 1996. They initiated a nationwide gun buyback program, and they bought back 650,000 semi-automatic rifles. New Zealand's was very successful. Canada is going to do this. That's it. What Canada calls military-style assault weapons, this is from today's New York Times, would be required to turn over their firearms to a government buyback program under legislation introduced yesterday. The Canadian government also announced new regulations that will ban the sale, purchase, transportation, or transfer of handguns. In the United States, we have 120.5 firearms per 100 people. In Canada, it's 34.7 firearms per 100 people, which is still on the high end for most nations. But, you know, they are taking steps in Canada. They are saying enough already. We should too.